Welcome guys to our weekly group call, 25th of August. Crazy. Hope you guys have all had a fantastic weekend. I know I've been extremely preoccupied with doing some updates, just doing some deep dives into the DTB system, getting a lot of the tools behind the scenes prepared for for updates, and also working on a lot of updates along the way. So we're going to go through some of those on this call and go from there. Okay, so let's jump straight into that. Let me disable this camera. I just wanted to do this quickly. Yep, this, and where the hell's this thing? I should know this program by now, right? Anyway, okay. It's actually pretty cool, this video sharing app that I have. It's called vMix. Pretty awesome. Anyway, okay, so I've made some updates to the trend following indicator, which is the main update that I've done, because what I'm actually doing is I'm preparing a significant update regarding a signal chart. So as you guys know, the Medina Wick Trader strategy is an extremely powerful strategy, and it's designed to act on retracements, enter trades based on price retracing at certain levels, certain tick distances, and you're able to really, distinguish where trades are actually entering. So that is something that we, we'll still keep going. But what we want to have behind the scenes is a chart that's built into the strategy, something like this that we're looking at over here, where the strategy will only take certain directional trades based on what the signal chart is telling us. So like as an example, only going short when there's a red line down, and only going long when there's a green line. So like that type of, thing that I'm looking to do to implement into the strategy. So let's first look at the updates that I made to this indicator. So if I just open up a new chart over here, I'll just open it up on NQ. I'll just load 3 days like that. Okay, and I always like to have a little bit of a space on the right. So I'm going to go to the offset here. I'll just make this 180. It'll be fine. Okay, so generally loading the indicator. So if you go into your indicator settings, you will see that we have the DTB trend following. Okay, so I'll just bring that up over here. Okay, so the new update that you're going to see is over here. So what I've specifically done is I've created a data series within the indicator itself. So before, this indicator used to have the range bars set up. But what I've done now is I've taken out the range bars and I've created a DTB bars data series within the indicator. So pretty awesome, because you can apply this indicator to different size charts and it will use the inbuilt settings that you select over here. So pretty awesome, pretty revolutionary. And we also have lines. It's gonna draw lines. So as an example, if we just add like a 20-20 bar like this, and we draw lines, what is going to happen? Let me just move this thing out the way. What is going to happen is it's got the 20-20 bars as the filter. And then you've got your dots and your jawline all just copying and matching the settings. Okay, so if I had to go now and I change this data series to like a 40-40, which is a much larger bar size, you're going to see that it's still building in the custom 20-20 settings on there. So it didn't change the settings of the indicator because you had a larger bar size. So the benefit with this is you're able to actually have the indicator do calculations on a much smaller bar size while showing the price on a larger bar size. Okay, so let's change this to like a 50 and a 10. Now, it's not always going to show very well on the chart because obviously with the bars built in, because that data series isn't physically on the chart, you may see some gaps like this, but that just means that when the indicator has adjusted settings, that those have caught up. So this is still showing you the 2020 bars in the background, okay, and you can see it's a bit specky, but that's showing you their specific values. So you can always see what the smaller data series is showing on. If I just make this a 50-50, we'll just see what that looks like. Yeah, so similar thing there. So it's giving you a much broader range. So I'm going to just change this to a 50-10 like this, and I'm going to go into the indicator settings. I mean, it's pretty cool too, because it's giving you a much smaller time frame, and I've got the vertical lines enabled. So the vertical lines is basically when a signal changes from long to short based on the built-in data series and this one over here, as you saw, was a excuse me, where's the stupid thing? Is a 2020. So a built-in 2020 data series is providing, these signals and lines over here. So it'll get you in to a position earlier. I mean, it's not always going to be 100% right. As you can see, you're going to have changeovers like on a flat baseline like this. But generally, you're going to have some pretty good signals based on this. And you're also going to know which direction to be in. So you're not going to be taking any long trades when you see a red line before. You're not going to take any short trades when you see a green line. So these vertical lines can be enabled or disabled inside the indicator itself. So if you don't want to see the vertical lines for whatever reason, you can actually just untick the box. Now, if you want to show that specific indicator on this bar size, you can adjust this over here. So you can go 50 and 10. Excuse me. Now that's going to show the trend following on that custom bar size. It looks pretty cool, right? I mean, I think it's a really nice indicator. I mean, and it's not a complicated indicator. I mean, I didn't reinvent the wheel with this one. It's basically a whole lot of moving averages. So it's not like, I mean, it's a few moving averages, and we've got a few other things in here. But it's not like a major, complex. Well, it's not a major advanced indicator. But what it does do is it just displays the price, pretty clearly. But what I've done to make it that much more special is added or built in that data series. So the reason why I've also done this specific way is because when I use this indicator or the signal chart in an automated strategy, I'm able to specifically adjust the signal chart values over here of how I want the indicator to work within the with strategy. So on a much deeper level. So I mean, you can add an indicator to a strategy and it will just act based on settings. But if you add data series within the indicator and you add a few more things behind the scenes, you got a lot more control over that indicator in the automated strategy, which you otherwise wouldn't normally have. Okay, so that is what this looks like. And like I mentioned, you can adjust this to break it adjust this to draw the vertical lines or not. So that's pretty cool. So this indicator is it's available to you guys right now, as you would be aware. It's just not within the automated strategy yet. So I'm really working on creating making this as a signal chart with a few other things included, so that when the Medina Wig Trader strategy is in operation, it's only going to take directional trades if this signal chart is chosen. So if I go to the indicator, I can remove this. So remember, you can have this indicator on any type of bar, any type of bar size. So if any of the DTB bars, if you want to adjust them, you can certainly do that. Why is this thing flashing up anyway? So you can adjust these, it's pretty awesome. So I mean, even if you apply this, I'll just do one more change over here. if I make this on a 2020, I just want to see what this looks like on this chart. Yeah, so, you know, applying that to a 2020, you're going to see it's going to just show the dots, because it's if you're going to try apply the waves and everything on a different value chart, it's going to be, you know, very difficult to actually see those things. It's going to cloud the page. So it's providing some details. I mean, there's a few hints of the wave there, depending on how the bars have actually painted. But generally, the dots are there to tell you what color that wave currently is. So if you're looking at doing any scalping trades and you want to know, you know, on a larger time frame, like we were looking at there on this indicator, you'll see this is like a 50-10. You see that's a 50-10. You can see based on that, you know, what direction to go in. So it's good for scalping, and I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic signal chart once we've actually got this built into the strategy. So feel free to play around with this, even with these values. You know, you can even make a trending baseline on here. And, you know, that will plot those values on that. So that's like working on like a 2-100 baseline. So you can quickly get an idea for direction based on that. And I think it's a fantastic scalping tool to use. So maybe not as clear when you're looking at a chart like this, but not bad. I mean, because you are definitely getting the coloring of the dots. You're getting these connected lines over here, which is basically the jaw line on the indicator. So fantastic. I love it. So we'll just go back to, so what did I make that a 2-100, right? So if I make the actual bars themselves a 2-100 like this, then it's going to present like this. So yeah, so I mean, it's just made the indicator more compatible with the DTB bars, because obviously the range bars in the background are not going to be as accurate as the DTB bars. So I just basically created this. Now this doesn't obviously give you that much information. I mean, you are obviously be able to do some scalping on the dots and things over here. But ideally, you're probably going to look at this on like an even bar size, you know, like a 20-20. So that's probably the main way you will look at it. And then looking at the lines over here, and then choosing directional trades. And you're going to find this is pretty awesome. I mean, they're pretty accurate when it comes to, you know, the directions over here. So I'm sure you guys will already enjoy that. It's a very cool indicator. And when it's part of the automated strategy, man, it's going to be a whole new level. Okay, so I've done that with that. And a very, very small little basic update over here is the DTB EMA. I haven't got the option to turn off the vertical lines in here, but all I've basically done is I've created vertical lines in here with the red and the green lines, which is basically the same on the same areas as the arrows appeared. It's all just part of, you know, the built-in signal chart, because as you guys know, the take it and run signal chart, which is the one that Paul put together, has got this DTB EMA. It has got the trend following. It's even got this other smoothing filter in there. So it's got a few indicators. So all I've done is I'm combining a few of those indicators, and I'm putting them on the chart, and I'm creating different counters and things within them so that they can generate signals. So like as an example, like I'll show you where I am at the moment. If I go back and I add this, excuse me, what was it called again? Trend following. If I go back and I add this trend following indicator like this, and I enable the vertical lines, you will see there's going to be, you know, dotted vertical lines, and there's going to be, you know, the flat, I mean, not the, what do you call it? The solid vertical lines. So that's just basically coding I'm using in the background, that it's going to be like, you know, if there's a green line and then there's a dotted green line, then go long. So, like this will, like these together will basically form a signal to say, okay, now it's time to go long, or now it's time to go short. It's the same thing over here. So there's a few things I'm working on in the background. So these vertical lines are primarily just to do with like counters and directional bias that's going to be controlled inside an automated strategy. And if you had to go into like your output window, NinjaScript output, if you did that, and if I just make this chart a little bit smaller, and I refresh this, you will see that it's the output's going to have counters. So that's going to tell you like long counter, short counter. So that at the moment is based on the trend following indicator. So as soon as there's a green line, it's going to change to long, and when there's a short line, it's going to be 0. I mean, it's going to be 1. So you'll see how it changed over there from a short signal to a long signal. So these can already be called up if you are using, as an example, the strategy builder. So if you want to go and look at the strategy builder, you go new strategy, and then call the DTB trend following, call that line output, that vertical line. That's what you'll be able to access. So I'm basically just creating access points from the indicator so that they can be combined in the signal chart that I'm working with. Okay, cool. So that's that part. It is not currently within the Medina Wick Trader strategy. So I'm really fine tuning the indicator itself. There's a lot of back end work done within the indicators themselves to make them function extremely well with the automated strategies. And as you can see on the signal chart, you've not only got the DTB EMA over here, the trend following indicator, but you've also got like a smoothing average. You've got these breakout markers being left behind. So there's a lot of different things that need to be programmed in to create a signal chart. So pretty cool. And as you can see, I mean, this is one of the best signal charts that we have. Second only to show me the money. It really shows price beautifully. And, these breakout markers are going to give you a very good indication of, where the points are, the points of influence are, where the volume is being pumped in. You're often going to see a breakout of this, retest. And, this smoothing average too it's absolutely phenomenal how it is just, following price. The price comes back and retests it, this band of averages over here. I mean, it's all just showing you beautifully how price is. So providing incredible opportunities to scalp the market. And, yeah, I think that's fantastic. But I would say so because, I made it, right? The indicators at least. So show me the money. I mean, you guys, we show this on most of our calls. I mean, look at the absolute fantastic signals. You got your breakout markers again. You got the bar coloring here. First of all, we started, the market earlier at 6 p.m. Went up a little bit. We had a big turnaround at the 23.6. It's only a 5-minute level, but even so, we had a turnaround there. All the way back down, we had our bar coloring change from green to gold. We had a brief bounce off the 50 over here, which is the 5-minute 50. So you can see how pivotal these levels are to what the price is actually doing. And then we had a breakout marker being left behind, bars gold, nice arrows. Then we had a bar coloring change over here. So, I mean, there's so much fantastic information on these charts. And, I don't believe there's any way of seeing price better than what we can do over here using the system. So that's why I'm working quite hard behind the scenes to create, these signal charts and make them compatible with the strategy so that on any strategy that we activate, I want to be able to say, okay, we'll only enter trades based on the direction of a certain indicator or of a certain signal chart as a group. So that's pretty fantastic. And I mean, you can see I love it. I mean, it's so powerful. Okay, so that's as far as the indicator development has gone. I mean, look at this. It's so clear. It is so clear. Okay, so if I take off the indicators on this one, and I just remove these two indicators, apply, and okay. Now, if we go to the strategies, you will see that there's a few strategies that I've just removed from the list, and one of them is the SI2 multi-filter. It's just because I'm doing some work on that in the background and I didn't get to finish it. And it's not like I can just quickly undo all the updates that I've done and then just give it to you how it was before, because I kind of work on things and then I burn all the bridges behind, and I keep working on it, and I improve it, and it's just not at the stage where it can be released. So I've just temporarily removed that from there. You'll also see that the Medina Wick Trader Bollinger strategy has been removed. So the reason is because I want to get this Medina Wick Trader strategy working unbelievably well with those signal charts built in. And that's going to provide, incredible success with that. So, oh yes, so baseline. So there's a few, I don't know why I put this in here. Shit, man, I shouldn't have put that there. So this auto optimizing, don't work on this one yet. This won't work for you guys. I must have ticked the box by mistake. But basically, this strategy, I don't even think it will do anything if it's activated, to be honest. It shouldn't do anything, actually. Yeah, no, definitely not. Okay, so it's not doing anything. Good. Yeah, because everything behind here is actually hard-coded in. And this is going to be a fantastic strategy when I'm completed with it. So just ignore that for now. It's not something to look at. If I look at the baseline week trader. So also now with our baseline week trader, which is the strategy you guys have been using in your in most of your automated trading. So if I go and look at like the baseline week trader, you will see your chats that you're sharing. So there's guys been sharing templates in there, which is really awesome. So thank you for that. So all the templates that you guys have been sharing in there, is basically related to the strategy we're going to look at now. And also, if I look at the results, so a lot of the results that have been shared are using, that baseline week trader. So thank you guys for sharing, your results in this chat over here. So very cool. I like all the, the effort you guys are putting in there, the screenshots, the gestures and stuff. It's all pretty cool. So, this strategy is, is pretty powerful, and it's continuing to be extremely powerful. Okay. So what I've done here is I've also included a trade direction. So if you want to activate the strategy in the strategy tab inside NinjaTrader without it actually being on a chart, and you want to specifically choose your direction bias, you can actually select it over here. So obviously selecting both, it'll take long and short trades. And when you select long only, short only, it'll only take that direction trades. So you can activate the strategy, like I said, within the strategy tab itself. So if you want to go over here and you want to go new strategy, this is where you can actually add the strategy for the trading session ahead, and then specifically choose if you only want the strategy to take long positions, or only take the strategy to take short positions, or both. So it's just a way of you guys being able to run the strategy chartless, but having a direction bias in that. Apart from that, if you activate the strategy on a chart, which is this one over here, if I just activate this with default settings, whatever they are, you will see that the values will not be right, because we're working on there's a lot of entries and exits on the same bar, so don't be fooled by that. As you can see, like this trade over here, that one would have been a losing trade because the price went and formed a new bar. But because NinjaTrader it doesn't know how to distinguish between the actual price. Anyway, besides all that, as soon as you activate the strategy on a chart, while it's running, you can say, okay, well, at the moment, I only want to take long positions. So I don't want the strategy to take any positions other than long positions. And then what will happen is all the signals will be generated from that point on, and the strategy will only take long positions. And obviously the same for short. And if you don't have any specific bias in mind, you can just click on both. So that will change in real time. And in real time, you can choose your direction bias. So that is just a new little thing. And I kept these buttons on the taskbar over here. So if you deactivate the strategy, I know there was a small thing before where those buttons were not disappearing. I figured out a way to make that happen, I think. Let me just see if I deactivate it. Yeah, so the buttons go away. So if you deactivate the strategy to change settings and then you reactivate it, then the buttons will come back. So that's that one. And you're also going to see that inside the continuous strategy, I've done the same thing. So the continuous strategy, exactly the same thing. You're going to be able to choose your trade direction. It's in a slightly different place for some reason. Anyway, it's there. So even if you activate the strategy chartless or on a chart, and over here, I'm just going to do the basic ones over here. I'm going to untick the first slot just because we're in it at the moment, and I don't want the orders to show issues over there. So activating that, same thing will apply over there. You're able to, in real time, selectively choose your direction. So also with the strategy, what I've done is, you'll notice last week we had, when I introduced the strategy, I had 10. I actually had 10 slots in the previous strategy. So what I've done, I've just made it a little bit simpler. So all the signals will still be the same: target ticks, stop ticks, profit target, and that, and the trade size are all there. But you'll see that I've only included slot 1 to 6. And then what I've done is I've done some research, and I found out what are the most impactful times of the day with regards to with regards to different markets opening. So like 6:05 to 11, that's going to be the early the agent session. Then you're going to have you're going to have the late afternoon session. You're going to have London session starting. You're going to have the pre-US market, and you're going to have the early US market, like the dominant session, and then you're going to have the late morning, early afternoon. So all of that is basically encapsulated in here. So from 6 to 11, 11 till 3, 3 till 8, 8:45 to 11, 11 to 2, and then 2 to 4. So that basically encompasses or encapsulates the entire trading day. And then you're able to optimize the values based on those specific times of day. So it just takes away 4 of the slots, so it reduces the workload that you have to do when you're optimizing the strategy. So that is as far as the updates are concerned. Any questions in the group calls, you can pop them in. So I'm not going to go into into the strategies like the Medina Wick Trader strategy today. I was really hoping to get the strategy completed with at least the trend following signal within it. But I really want to make sure that it's working 100% and working as it should, and give you guys something solid you can work with. So for right now, when you're using the Medina Wick Trader strategy, and we showed this on the call last week too, the strategy is a phenomenal money printer if it is managed properly. So managed in the sense of, being able to start and pause at specific times, just managing when it takes entries, the retracements and stuff. So, we are going to cover this strategy in really good detail as soon as we have like this signal chart built in, and it is, I don't know why that's there. As soon as we have, just get the strategy started. And I probably should have just loaded. So again, if you're working with the Medina Wick Trader strategy, just load minimal days. Okay, this is fine. It's starting to calculate. So, there's signal charts in here at the moment. So the signal charts in here at the moment, we will be discussing, as we go, but I'm going to be improving them too. So, there's different signal charts in here. So you'll see like there's signal chart combo 4, there's signal chart combo 4 minute. There is signal chart combo 10. So each of these that you click on over here, each of these, and it even tells you the values of them. Each of those are different chart templates that have actually been created that is going to make the strategy only enter based on what that chart template is doing. So, I mean, it's fantastic to be able to access those chart signal charts from here. So basically what this will mean is, you'll be able to just click this button and the strategy will cycle between this signal chart and this signal chart. So you're basically able to, use the strategy buttons themselves to choose which signal chart you want the strategy to use. So man, it is freaking unbelievable. I mean, the technology we have in the strategy, I know I sound like a broken record, but the technology we have in the strategy, the ability to move things around, delaying trades, working on all different chart sizes, activating and deactivating filters as we go. I mean, it's pretty advanced. And this is my baby, this strategy. This is the very first strategy. Okay, I wouldn't say the very first strategy that I ever worked on, because I've worked on a lot of crap before, with Forex trading, which is a scam, as you guys know. But working on, I built many strategies and stuff in the past, but this is the first proper strategy that I really focused on in futures trading and NinjaTrader. So there's thousands and thousands of hours of work behind everything that you're seeing over here over many years. So this strategy is going to be absolutely fantastic. And I'm also going to figure out a way, because as you can see on like the take it and run, it's printing different counter values. So I'm also going to figure out a way of how I can incorporate the Medina Wick Trader strategy to cycle between signal charts itself based on, the strength of certain signals coming through. So say, for example, one of the signal charts is producing multiple long entries, like it's giving a high count. I'm going to get the strategy to automatically have that signal chart selected in the back end. So it's very easy to program that in, because I can just say, if this signal chart has got X amount of signals over this value, then use this signal chart. So, there's a lot of cool things I can do behind the scenes to select different signal charts based on what they are doing. So I wouldn't call it AI, even though it's probably, I can basically create AI. It's not really, I'm not using artificial, I'm actually creating artificial intelligence behind the scenes for the strategy to, basically be selective in what it's doing. So pretty cool. There's a really amazing things coming up. And obviously you guys using the DTB system are truly blessed if I may say so myself. And, just keep at it, keep working with the templates. I mean, look at these, even just with your scalping, even just with the very simple take it and run. I mean, when I say very simple, it's not actually very simple because it took Paul a long time to put this together. But even just with, looking at a signal chart like this, and remember, if you guys go to your control panel and you go workspaces, DTB indicator sample, it comes immediately up. So, take a look at this, watch what the price is doing, watch how the price reacts around the jaws. I mean, just this as a scalping thing, it's truly fantastic. And obviously the same goes with the, with the show me the money. So focus on that, this week. Take some signal trades, work on your baseline wick trader. I'm not going to be too I'm not going to be too focused this week on the game plan. The last few weeks, literally the last 3-4 weeks, I've been doing this game plan at stupid hours of the morning after being spending hours and hours and hours and hours coding, and I'm not getting those templates right. So, and also what it's doing is it's actually messing up my testing processes on the back end, because I normally use my VPS to run playback for the updates that I'm making. But now, because I've got my VPS used to trade the game plan and only the game plan, then I'm not able to actually do as much testing as I want to test. So I'm not actually going to be doing any live trading this week. Automated, I'm talking about automated with regards to the game plan. So I'm not actually going to create a game plan for this week ahead. So I'm going to just update this text over here on here just to say, no game plan for the week ahead. What I want you guys to focus on this week is, and we touched a bit briefly on this before, is obviously you guys can run your own templates like you've done before. There's a few guys sharing templates. I know Christopher's very, very big on the baseline wick trader. So, there's going to be templates that are shared. So you feel free to run those templates. And they're great. But I also want you guys to look at like a signal chart like this. And last week we basically had, like this, we had a chart like this. If I go move to new window, and I mean, it can literally be any of these signal charts over here. So you could have this set up, and then you could run your Medina wick trader strategy on this chart while you're looking at, at your signal chart. So I'll just quickly load it on here. I wish this stupid thing would just freaking open up bars the right size, man. Dumbass. Okay, so going into here. So you can still go and activate the Medina wick trader strategy with none of the filters, even if you want to go with 0 of the filters. So the default settings are basically none of the filters. I think maybe there's one selected there that I haven't actually unticked, but as soon as you activate the strategy with absolute default settings, it will look like this. And if there is a button that's green, just tick the button, and it might show, like this as an example. Oh, why is it not changing green? It might be green like that. So if you're seeing any filters on there, you can deactivate them. And then based on what you are seeing on your signal chart over here, you can say, okay, I'm going to activate the strategy. But I only want to take long positions. Okay, so I'm going to activate the strategy right now because my signal chart is telling me, hey, we should not be considering short positions at this specific stage. So, you're basically using this manually at the moment, because when this signal chart is programmed into the strategy and it's selected, it's going to basically act on this. So this could just be a way of you, just having a strategy, and be in control of the buttons, because it's much easier to control a strategy than try and control individual entries that you are entering. So remember, what most people don't understand is when you manually enter a trade, your whole mindset and everything is centered around that specific bar that it's on and the trades that you're entering. You're not even looking properly at a bigger picture. So by not actually entering the trades yourself and rather looking at a signal chart, and based on that signal chart, all you are doing is managing your directions, whether it's long trades, short trades, you're managing your targets and your stops. You know, you might see the price in a very small range, and you might say, you know what, I'm only going to target a 19 tick stop, and you know what, a 200 tick stop's pretty wild. So, you know, I'm going to just go for like a 82 tick stop. So, and then the strategy is already started. So the next trade will act on those values. So that's the cool thing about this is, you know, not having to physically go and enter the positions, but rather managing the strategy so that you can get a better overall picture of what a signal chart is doing. And, you know, you can use different signal charts. So you can look at this signal chart. And you can look at this signal chart. Shit, you might even want to look at this one. You know, this is also fantastic. This just gives you the retracement levels of a certain value. So we've had a turnaround, you know, so you'll say, okay, I'm still happy to only be in long positions. You can look at multiple of these. You can say, okay, well, even the trade support is telling me, okay, we should be in long positions. This is a goddamn amazing indicator too. I mean, I know you're seeing lots of numbers over here. I mean, these numbers that you're seeing is just the tick distance of that dot away from price. That's what those values are. And I think you can disable them if you wanted to. So, you know, you can look at multiple signal charts. I mean, even like this one over here, this one can be a bit busy, but you can reduce the settings. But you can say, you know, based on what you're seeing over here, you know, you only want to enter long positions. And all you're doing is you selectively choosing how your strategy is entering. So, I mean, that's the beauty of the Medina Wick Trader strategy. You don't want to squeeze it too much. And in fact, you probably want to have this on two different charts because, you know, yeah. So, I mean, like that's pretty cool, right? You can, you know, the buttons are nicely sized over there. You know, even if you're using a chart like this where it's a smaller screen, I think this is a 24-inch screen. You know, you can still have your strategy running over there, choosing your direction bias. And then you've got a few charts to look through. You could even set up a few different charts, looking at them, and you know, as soon as baseline breaks happen, you can choose, okay, long positions. I mean, there's a shitload you can do over here. I mean, there's really a tremendous amount. So instead of trying to manage individual entries, look at an overall picture of multiple charts. I mean, that makes so much sense, right? I mean, if you literally, I promise you, when you enter a position manually, you are so fixed on that position. It's very difficult to see a much bigger picture. So there's a question over here from Ali. Do you wait for price to pull back to the colored area in the take it and run chart before enabling the Medina Wick Trader? Excuse me, damn it. So not necessarily, you know, with this, it's designed, you know, to only be looking at long positions, because the nice thing about this is that when you've activated the Medina Wick Trader strategy to go long over here, what's going to happen is when the price retraces over here, it's going to be entering long positions, and then those are going to hit their targets. If you wait for the strategy, if you wait for the price to get to here, then enable it, then the price is going to go up and you're only going to have entries from here, as an example. Nothing wrong with that because you're waiting for extra confirmation. But, you know, try get in as quick as possible on a signal change, because, you know, and also it depends on, you don't have to trade a 5-minute bar. In fact, I don't like trading minute bars. I think they're dumb. They're stupid and dumb. And we've gone through this before, you know, because again, there's so much brainwashing taking place with minute bars with regards to different chart patterns. So you might be imagining a chart pattern and then be reluctant to do something, Meanwhile, you know, those chart patterns are at very, very best 60% accurate. And out of the 60% that they are accurate, 30% of the time they will whipsaw and take out stops anyway. So like literally the very, very best chart patterns that anybody's ever come up with in any of these multiple books that they've written, they're only really brilliant about 30% of the time, which is not enough to be consistent. So, you know, the best way to trade this, I mean, you might decide, you know what, I'm gonna have this on like a DTB bars, and I'm gonna go a 5 200. You don't need break at end of day on this, and you can load a bit more days on that, like this. And it's probably best to do this when, you know, when the strategy is not active. You want to deactivate the strategy. But you can also just do that as long as you haven't got too much data, you know. If you haven't got too much data on the chart, that's fine. So like you'll see over here. Now I'm going to activate my crosshair, my global crosshair. So let me just do this and remove some of this text over here. I also want to just clear this account. I just want to clear the account so I can take away the text on the chart. So if I go edit account and I go reset. Oh, I don't want to. Yeah, okay. I'll have to do that. Okay. So I'll have to just re-enable that strategy, I guess. Maybe not. No, I'm sure I will have to, surely. Okay, no, okay, cool. So basically, I'm going to activate my global crosshair, which is, if I go over here, what the fudge? So this should be simple, right? You click on this, global. Why is it not allowing me to select the global crosshair? I mean, I've never seen that before. Why is this chart allowing me to do it and this chart not? I mean, what the hell? You know, it's called Mysteries of NinjaTrader. Absolute mysteries of NinjaTrader. You never know what you're going to get. Anyway, okay. So this should be simple, right? You choose the chart. You know what? It's probably me. I'm probably being the dumbass over here. I've got an NQ chart over there. NQ0924. Okay. And then I've got an NQ0924 chart, which everything is just normal on here. Okay, it's just a normal chart. So why can't I freaking select the goddamn global crosshair? I mean, really, that's too much to ask? Let me try to duplicate it in a new window and see if that works. Oh, now that works. Yeah. God damn it! Don't even get me started. Anyway, so you could have. So where was I before? I was rudely interrupted by this thing stuffing me around. Okay, so there's my global crosshair. There's my global crosshair. So when I move the price on the bottom chart, it's going to automatically show where the price was on the top chart. Okay, so earlier today, this was our baseline break, right? So there's our baseline break from its low. Here's the low. As you can see, this is the last bar before the baseline break. So the price went over here and it went up, and then it broke the baseline over here. So this is where the price broke the baseline. And then the price went up and then it came back down and formed a wick. So you can see on the top chart here, there's a wick. So you could activate the strategy on that wick as it's happening. But there's a good chance that the price could go straight up back to the baseline and then you've not had any trades. Whereas if you activated it before that wick actually happened, it would have entered trades on this wick and then gone and hit their targets. So, you know, all the time you're going to have the price, you know, going up like this, you know, forming these wicks and traveling. So, I mean, how much clearer is this? I mean, if you look at this chart, and then you know, duplicate this and you make this a 5-minute chart. I mean, what is easier to read? This huge shit-faced manipulation that they love to do, okay, which completely kicks everybody out. I mean, how are you going to trade this? How exactly do you expect to trade this? I mean, it's a disaster, right? How much easier is this to look at, where you've got, you know, a trending baseline, you've got baseline breaks, you've got wicks, you know, and even if you're looking at this on a flat baseline, I mean, it is so much easier to read than looking at the absolute shit show that is a minute chart. So, I mean, so that's, you know, that's what you can be looking at. I mean, and you can see where the baselines are. So if a baseline breaks, you know that, okay, this is the previous baseline. Okay, then there was the baseline before. So it's very clear to see where price is likely to be going next. And obviously you can add, you know, some of the indicators on there, which we've done with, you know, with the trend following and stuff. But it's such a clear, precise way to trade it. And this over here, it's the same thing with this. And you might be looking at this chart. You can have the automated strategy running on it. And then based what you are seeing on this chart, you can say, okay, well, I'm going to activate the strategy now. I should take off this global crosshair because that's pissing me off now. It served its purpose, but not when you're trying to navigate charts. So now, like this, now you could be looking at this, and you can see, okay, the price is on a very small wick now. We're kind of in no man's land. So you know what? It's not a good idea to start a strategy. So I'm going to have the strategy on pause. Okay, so you pause the strategy, and then you're looking at price. You know, you're looking at the price form different wicks, and then you can start the strategy and then choose your direction bias. Now, you don't necessarily have to choose a direction bias when you're looking at like a trending or flat baseline, because it's only going to trade that wick back towards the baseline. Okay, the only time you would want to have a direction bias is if you don't want to trade this wick or this candle short because you're seeing the price in an uptrend. So then you would go, okay, I only want to take long positions. And then what will happen is, I don't think the strategy is activated on this chart. Okay, so then you'll choose, you know, I only want to take long positions. I don't know why this thing's pissing me off. Maybe I should start it. Anyway, I might have to deactivate it and reactivate it. So, you know, you can basically choose, you know, your direction based on that. That's not even loaded. There's not even a strategy loaded. Okay. So, it's just, I don't know, this thing. But you guys get the picture, right? You can, you know, you can manage the strategy. Don't try and enter positions. Manage a strategy. So what we'll be on, like a 200 and a 5. So when you have these settings over here, you're basically looking at, you know, 200 ticks will be for the price to go to the next baseline, and the baseline that you're currently looking at, the width of that baseline is 5 ticks. So that's what you're basically looking at when you are applying settings like this. Okay, and then your Medina Wick Trader strategy, we'll just activate it again here very quickly. So Medina Wick Trader strategy, I just want to go template reset. I just want to make it go to absolute default so I can see what you guys are basically seeing when you activate it. So it's looking like this. It'll take a few seconds just to load up. Wait for it to finish calculating. And there we go. So right now, you will see that the price is 120 ticks away, 122 ticks away from the baseline. So if you start the strategy now, okay, you'll see it says started, and you don't want to have the retracement too low, but once you've got the retracement in place, what will happen now is basically what we're doing is we're saying, okay, well, we're happy for the strategy to start trading now. The price has to retrace to 0 because we've got a retracement value in there that's currently 8. So it's gone up 8 ticks. The highest has gone up. And we're waiting for that to basically retrace that specific retracement value. And now, sometimes when you activate the strategy, the first couple of times it hits 0, it might not enter a position, but there it did perfectly. So all that's happened now is the strategy's entered a position. You've got a 25 target. You've got that stop. The stop line is basically the red dotted line that you see over there. So you've got that trade in place. And you can choose, okay, how many entries do you want to have? Do you want the entries spaced out or not? We'll cover this again in a bit more detail, like on another strategy, but on another call. But the basic fundamentals of the strategy are extremely brilliant because you're able to actually just manage the positions. You manage the chart. And all you're doing is you're looking at your signal charts, like we discussed. Where's the other one? Was this the one that was giving me issues earlier where I couldn't select the freaking crosshair? Yeah, okay. Doesn't matter. So, like there's your signal chart. Now, I just activated the strategy. Now, because I activated the strategy and I didn't choose direction buys, it's going to take long and short positions. But it's only going to take short positions on a wick like this, because it's always going to trade back in the direction of where the baseline started. So, that wasn't a bad idea to actually start the strategy there, because we've got a lot of divergences here. We've got colored bars. We've got a few things happening to say, hey, there's likely a turnaround that could happen over here. Not a very powerful turnaround because we currently, in no man's land between Fibonacci levels, even though they're only 5. But you can certainly look at what's happening on the chart itself. So you could look at these breakout volume markers to see if they're left behind. Like if you had volume markers left behind above the price, then, having that trade downwards is an amazing idea. Like you can see that orange breakout marker is now being left behind. So look at that orange breakout marker. Look how it was left behind. If I just increase this a little bit, see, you've got a few markers in play at the moment, you see. So that orange marker is basically in place. The red marker is in place. So the price is gonna definitely act at this section. It's gonna happen. It's gonna move from here, because that is where they've pumped significant volume in, and they are going to either make this a continuation or a reversal, and more than likely a reversal. Okay, but you are able to look at a few different charts and determine, okay, well, what is price likely to do next? And it might just be for a short period. You might just be saying, I only want to take 1 or 2 bars of profit. And you can say, I don't want to take more than the current entries that are there, so I'm dragging that all the way down to 1. So now the strategy will not take any more positions. It will only act on those positions that are there at the moment. So, that's what you can do with the strategy, is you can selectively start and pause it. So there we had our trade support showing us a sell bias. So this shows you sell bias, and it kind of shows you in advance. I mean, like there we had our first one. So this kind of gives you advance notice of a possible change in direction. So it's a pretty awesome indicator, and you can see all these bars are colored in real time. Okay, they're not repainted after. So you've got a few things that come into play. Now, this is all still showing, an uptrend. Okay, it's showing an overall uptrend in general. Okay, so that's what you want to do. We had a small wick over there showing that the price. So you can see that's why it's a good idea to look at multiple charts, because you can see multiple charts, what they are doing, what the trending baseline doing. Like we're on a wick over there. So to go short over here, we're trying to predict a baseline break, but hey, it might be a little bit of a wick, right? So we want to look at a few different charts at any one stage and then decide, okay, well, what do we want to trade on? And if a 205 is not the best chart to work on, why don't you go to a trending baseline chart? So that is also, an option that you can take. So this is what I really like to do is, look at the different signal charts and then specifically choose your biases. So here we've got markers left behind. This could jump up. It could very well jump up. In fact, a lot of the tools are showing, like even the trending baseline is saying, hey, this is more likely to go back to the baseline. You know what I mean? So there's a few even this one over here, it's very likely to go back to the baseline because the price is either going to go back to the baseline or it's going to go form a new baseline. That's the only thing it can do. So it's a bit of a risk here going short because you can see the probability, because we're looking at numbers probabilities, right? What is the probability of what's going to happen next? Probability is the price is going to return to the baseline and continue. That's probabilities, right? Same thing over here. Probability, oh, look, it did. The price went back to the baseline. It's exactly what it did. So that's what's happening all the time is these prices are forming wicks. So looking at different charts and then determining, when to enter. Like there, okay, there we have a direction change. So at any time when you see, okay, well, this is looking totally different, just go and pause. Just go and pause your strategy. Get out of any positions that you are in. Yes, you may take a loss, but it's better than having this run up because you can almost guarantee that when this price comes back to the baseline, it's going to run up. It's going to run again. Same thing over here. There's constantly forming wicks and things. So we still got a lot of aspects telling us that this is long, this is long. So it's not always a good idea just to activate a strategy randomly, like we just did. It's always good to look at an overall idea for signal charts. And that's why I've got multiple signal charts over here so that you guys can cycle between them and say, hey, you know what? Based on everything I'm looking at over here, my direction bias is going to be long only. And I'm happy to start the strategy then or wait for a specific time when to start it. So that's the cool thing about the Medina Wick Trader strategy. You see, so it's not a good idea just to always start it randomly. Have a bit of structure in place because you don't want to have losing positions because you activated a strategy on the fly. You know what I mean? So like that one there proved. So even though we had only one of these charts, only one of all of these charts at the bottom showed that there's a potential sell, all the others showed that it was a long bias. And then what happened over here, even on this specific chart that we had giving us a good indication of the price reversing, we actually had these breakout markers being left behind below the price and going up. So immediately negating that previous signal or these arrows and stuff. So, that's what you guys have access to, to be able to determine things. And I think it's a fantastic approach to use the signal charts like this because eventually all of these signal charts over here, not all of these specific ones, but all of these signal charts, including the show me the money, take one, are going to be in the strategy buttons. So like I said, you're going to be able to choose a specific signal chart, and I'm going to label them in the button as they're labeled on the chart. So you're able to, say for example, we selected show me the money as the signal chart. This button is going to say show me the money. So you know that when you click on this chart and you look at what's happening here, the strategy is only going to act when these signals are in place, like as an example. Same with the take it and run. We can do the same thing over here. So if you select this take it and run button and it shows take it and run and you click on this take it and run chart, you're going to know that, okay, the strategy is only going to take long positions when the bars are white. It's only going to take short positions when the bars are blue on this specific data series. Because remember, we've got selective capabilities of choosing which data series is inside the strategy. So you can see, guys, we've got amazing technology and advancements coming your way. But in the meantime, use this tool like I've demonstrated it here. And, look at the pitfalls of just activating a strategy randomly. Look at multiple signal charts when you decide what you want to do, because they definitely give you a key insight into what likely is going to happen next with price. Cool. So I'm going to leave that there. I don't think there were any more questions. So happy to end it there. All right, guys, thank you so much for jumping on. I hope you got some value out of this call, and I look forward to seeing what you guys do over the week. Please continue to post your results in the group results chat. Again, I'm not going to be doing a game plan for the week ahead, because I'm in such a deep rhythm of testing, and I want to run playback while I'm doing testing. I want to have this all done. So I need my VPS to have that stuff running in the background, so I can make sure that these features are working 100%. The signal charts are working. So, there's a lot I need to do. So I don't want to have a whole VPS dedicated to running a game plan. You guys can run your own templates. Okay. Guys, have an amazing week, and I'll look forward to seeing what you guys can do. Okay. Thanks, guys. Chat soon.